Good morning. Better. I feel like a teacher. Good morning, class. Good morning, teacher. Okay, guys, so we're going to talk about Web 2 to Web 3. So, um, you guys want to do just a quick intro?
Yeah,
Go for it.
sounds good. Hey guys, my name is Kevin. As you guys are settling in, for those that are near the door, there's seats. But my name is Kevin Saw, the co-founder of Bored and Hungry and co-founder of Food Fighters Universe. Thanks for having me, guys.
Give them a round of applause, guys.
Thank you. My name is Oscar Tanabin Jr. I'm the founder and CEO of Anotoys Collectivers. So we onboard brands, celebrities, and the entire fan of the Web 3.0. So thank you for having me here.
Woo! And both of you guys have some really, really awesome stuff downstairs. I went and enjoyed one of your amazing burgers last night, and I checked out your absolutely epic toy collection.
Thank you.
Like his toy collection is the type of thing that happens when a little kid gets to do things with adult money. It's amazing. Amazing.
100% on that.
Definitely go check it out. So when we talk about bringing people from Web 2 into Web 3, what do you guys see as the biggest challenge that has to be overcome?
I think at first it's the knowledge and the accessibility to the technology. Because when you look at Web3, it's not user friendly, right? And that is something that we need to bridge. That's number one priority.
I feel the same way because when we jumped in, the learning curve was very difficult to overcome, and where to get the information was very difficult because it's decentralized. The information was decentralized, so it's really hard to really know where to start even. So I think it's great for all of you folks that are at this conference. Conferences like these, utilizing trusted folks. I mean, that's a good place to start. So.
Awesome. Now, when you talk about the difficulties of getting somebody from Web 2 into Web 3 and the things that they have to overcome, one of the things that's very unique about what you guys are doing, when you look at this from the perspective of food, okay, and toys and clothing, okay, and gaming over here, right? All of us, these are like the fundamental things that make us human, right? If you go back and you look at the earliest Neolithic sites, you find food, toys, clothes. These are all things that we see. What do you guys see as the next step to bringing people from Web 2 into Web 3? What has to happen next in order to make this work?
The next step, honestly, when I see it again, it really does start with how it impacts the industry that they're in. And for us, like, I remember the first thing we had to do that clicked, that sunk us down the rabbit hole, was, oh, I know what we can do with it. I think it started with that. Like, how does this, once you kind of start understanding how the technology works, where it starts impacting your particular industry, that's where it really started clicking. Because we saw, because we know that there's loyalty programs for food, engagement with the clients through bringing people together, immersive activations, like all those things in the event side of the business with food. Those are the things that really impacted us right away. And then also the financial side. Always having another revenue or stream of income for your business is like a lifeline. So those are the things I think are really important steps, is starting to think about how it impacts that particular area of expertise the person's in. I think that's a really good place.
All right, I want to add something. So when you look at the impact of Web 2 to Web 3, right, onboarding, I look at a project as project or your product should solve a problem. It should be a lifestyle, and you just make it better on Web 3. For example, like food or toy collectible, I look at it in a way that how human behaves and it solves our problem. Like in collectible, blockchain is really good at authenticating things. And once you use it properly and eliminate all those technical words, that the barriers that people on board, it could be so beautiful, and it unlocks so much potential moving forward that's not available years back. So when I look at it, it's really about the fundamental. There will be a immersion of Web 2 and Web 3. People, we will not be talking about Web 2 and Web 3 anymore in the next 3 years. We're talking about, oh, this technology that we're using. Basically, it's just a technology. People just say it's a Web 2, Web 3, there's a big divide. But in the future, it's really about how we apply it in our lives. That's simple because it's really solving our problem. NFTs is really good for marketing, identifying things. It's a lot of businesses would really use this for promotions. Blockchain technology, finances, it will be in our wallets, everyday lives, it will be there. So I believe that it will not be the term Web 2 and Web 3, it's really how it solves our problem daily. So that's the most important thing.
I completely agree with that. I like both of those breakdowns. One of the things that I've noticed about both of you guys is when I go to your locations and your pop-ups and things like that, you have a big thing for apes. And who in here has an ape? Ooh, not many. Very, very ape dry crowd. Anyway, now, one of the challenges of bringing Web 2 people into Web 3 is that so much of the stuff that we do in Web 3 seems very silly to Web 2 people, right? Now, what you guys have both done is a great job of making it real, okay? Which I think is important so that it's not just, oh, it's a JPEG. I can right click on that and make my own. You don't have that, right? You guys have done a great job of that. What do you think in terms of things like apes or punks or Vox or any of these, you know, like collections that are based on this? What are the other things that we can do to bring those more to the Web 2 world?
So one of the big things I do want to talk about is culture shift, because right now it seems silly because it's on the cusp of change for some. It doesn't seem silly to many, actually, for the younger generation. And I want to emphasize the new generation coming up, and even for guys that are like a little bit older and whatnot. We all grew up around so much intellectual property, brands. We grew up around Saturday morning cartoons. We grew up around all these things that are very vastly popular today, like anime, Japanese anime, different types of cultures all around the world now that, you know, people enjoying, you know, Korean pop music. That wasn't a thing when we were young. But now that we're older and we are in, you know, again, kids with adult money, we bring that into culture, right? So these apes on my shirt, I'm literally I have burger cartoons on a whole. I mean, I look ridiculous, I'm sure, to some people.
Hey, man,
but
I want to know where the hell you get your shirts, because it's.
Oh, thanks, man.
You're a big dude. It's hard for me to get shirts that
custom,
are custom.
custom.
But
But yeah, it is custom. But the reason why I think this is really important is because, just as an example, talking about digital, physical, bridging the gap together on different cultures coming in, we love mashing cultures together. We have a coffee shop in downtown Los Angeles. It's a regular coffee shop, but recently we've done different collaborations there with other brands. We've done BMW. They came in and did a pop-up where it's a BMW cafe at our coffee shop. Brought their audience in. It was pretty cool. We did it with Disney. We brought Disney's Mickey Mouse images, made a Disney like cafe. Very cool pop-up, large lines. But the largest collaborations we've had so far is a brand that I wasn't even familiar with, which is Persona 5. We did a collaboration with a Sega game called Persona 5, and we had lines for days. And it's like an anime-ish game. That's what it is. And it had this fandom that we didn't even know, and now we're learning about it. I'm like, wow, this, and those are the things that are unlockable by just getting away from the thought that, oh, this may be silly, but instead, watch where culture is today. Watch what the youth is listening into, what they're tuning into, what the current culture thinks is cool. It's changed quite a bit. It's not what we used to, or our parents, or whoever that generation was, thought was cool. The cool has changed quite a bit. So, just throwing that out there.
Thankfully, right? I'm glad the cool's changed.
Interesting. So I like what you said about culture shift and fandom, because fandom knows no boundaries, and every region fandom is evident, right? But in Korea there might be different fandom in different ages, in different segments. In Japan, US, there might be different. You would see robots differently in US and in Japan, right? And you will see cartoons differently in Asia and in the US, in the Western side. So, but fandom is there, and it's about familiarity. It's about the target market that we tap into. And like you said, maybe it just shows our age when you say about you're not familiar with this Persona 5, right? I'm not familiar with them too. But these are the groups, the next generation who will adapt massively on Web 2 on going to Web 3. And they know these brands and they're familiar with it. Because look at the case study of what we've done. When we try to onboard celebrities, legends, it's a big thing. However, it's harder for them to adapt in Web 3 because their fans are also in my age. But when we go on a younger brand like Bored Ape, it's easier for them to adapt on Web 3, especially in our pop-up when we have a partnership with Bored Ape and Anatoy's Collectivers. When you buy their merch, there's a digital counterpart. It's easier for them to adapt because they understand the culture right away, and it onboards Web 2 people to go there. Another thing I want to inject is emotion attachment. This is really emotional. You could see, you could see the use cases of gaming, play to earn games, right? Some people play to earn games. They don't really stay there. They just want to maximize the platform, but they never stay. But if you're a fan forever. Let's say if you're a Kobe fan, most likely you're a Kobe fan for life. And that's what the fandom is. 90% of those are untapped on Web3. People are talking about Web3 technology, this and that, but they never really tap about the emotional aspect on this technology. And I think that's the next wave that's gonna happen. That's why you would see entertainments, you would see music, you would see celebrities onboarding, and you would see emotional brands like Bored Ape, Azuki's, and others going to Web3 and onboarding more people. And I think that's the next wave of mass adoption.
Okay, I like that. I like how we have a 12-minute paper. That's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. You're doing a great job. Okay, so switching gears just a tiny bit here. What are the things that we in Web3 need to stop doing in order to begin a better onboarding of Web2? Because this is, and I'm asking because I want to know, this is a thing that we deal with constantly. Like, what are the Web3 things that we have to fix so that gamers can come in and actually start playing? For you guys in your respective industries, what are the Web3 practices or Web3 feelings that we need to get rid of so that we can make it easier to onboard Web2?
I mean, for us, when we came into the industry and started learning it, we felt like outsiders right from the jump, like anyway, because we just didn't know what the heck people were saying. Because there's a lot of these like terms, these language vocabulary barriers of like, what are you guys saying right now? They would say like WAGMI and GM and all these different like gaming / Web3 terms, or I don't really know what it was. And I just felt like incredibly old. And I was like, what the heck are you guys even saying? And I think some of the jargon, it's fun. You know, the vocabulary is fun. But I think what it does is also it creates like insider feel. And when that happens, it's really hard to bring new people in. And I think what we, as the innovators in the room that want to continue to innovate with the technology, is to try to speak in a way for the newcomer, right? So I love community building. Like, community building is like, I can do that all day. I love it. I want to meet everyone in this room and know what their story is. Like, I genuinely want to meet everybody all the time. And I know everyone could be, really excited, extroverts, or they could be introverted or scared. There's all sorts of personalities. But through my experience of community building, if you create an environment of invitation in everything you do, you're gonna have a lot more people. So every time you do anything, any talk or any presentation or company conversation, I talk to everyone as if they are brand new anyway. I just try, and respectfully I try to do that, because if you're talking to the newcomer, you'll always get more people, because you're gonna feel welcoming from day one. And so I think if the industry can do more of that in every aspect, and be aware when they're talking about the details, I guess, to kind of take a step to rewind, reset the room a little and go, hey, what we meant by this was, and then have some context, it'll be easier for people to understand what we're even talking about, and why this person is on the news for X and whatnot. So
Thank you. I agree with you completely, Kevin, and what you said. I think I want to add to it. As a builder, I think what you want to do is change your mindset. Sometimes in this community, when you're immersed, I feel like an outsider as well. But when you get there and they welcome you, sometimes you would feel that there's this barrier that, hey, we're only Web 3, right? We're not Web 2, right? And you're not welcome. So as a builder, I want to break that mindset. You have to break that mindset first, and everything would follow. Your attitude would follow, like what Kevin is saying. At the same time, the way you produce your product will be more inviting, and the way you communicate with consumers will be more inviting as well, because this is really mass adoption. And another thing is, put emotion to it. Put emotional brands to it that people could relate to. Relating, people could relate. They won't care about jargons. They won't care about Web3 and blockchain. Philippine blockchain week. What's that? I mean, it doesn't ring a bell. I don't even know that. But hey, if this would make your life even easier because of what you do, then that's it. There's a benefit to it, to their lives. And that, I think, is something that every builder should communicate. That's why I am a fan of fandom, and I believe that every fan onboarding to Web3 is huge, because they would stay there for life, right? It doesn't matter what technology is, Web 2, Web 3, Web 4, Web 5, as long as the users are there, they're happy, and they continuously use it to improve and solve their problem, they're in.
Nice. I like that. One of the, and from our perspective, this is something that we sometimes take flack for, because we try to be, people call us like a Web 2 company trying to be Web 3 from time to time, because we have a bunch of games we're building, and you have to do things in like a normal business way. You can't be like, let me just yeet some tokens out there and see what happens, right? When you have $500 million of funds deployed building games. So that's a thing that we take flack for. One of the other things that we find very interesting is the media pushback against the concept of Web3. And I think that we have seen, how do I say this delicately? In the last 2 weeks, since a certain organization began having solvency issues, there's been a very interesting media attention and that has been paid to the blockchain space, and some of it is horrendously slanted. Okay, and this is something that we see time and time again in media across the entire industry. What do you feel? What message would you like to put out to media that is not Web3 media, so traditional Web2 media? What message would you guys like to share with them about the future of Web3? Sorry. I ask hard questions.
No, this is a tough one because a part of me wants to, just really say the right thing. So like, they, but the other part of me is because there is so much negative feedback that does happen. So it's because of this, this lack of understanding that happens, and there's a lot of misinformation. And so, like, honestly, like when we first opened up, even the physical location, people were like graffitiing us and tagging us and all those things too. And it really happened, And a lot of the comments that we get online that have a largely Web 2 audience, if some blogger covers that, it's all just trash comments. It's crazy. So
Terrible, isn't it? It's just
it's
terrible.
not. So I guess for the media, just in general, gotcha news is always fun, but it doesn't get you very far. And I think one of the things that they should at least do is try to understand the full picture instead of just diving into the highlights and lowlights. Because just like in any business or anything that you're building, nothing happens overnight. It just doesn't. I know we all move fast. We do. This industry is it's like dog years. Like everything is moving in times 7, like all the time. But I know it moves quickly. However, just like in any business, it takes time. And I think it's going to be really hard to say to media to like have mercy, but at least just do your due diligence on the full picture. I think that would be the best thing I could say.
All right, that's a very good answer, Kevin. And I think we don't have time because that's a very sensitive question.
Go for it. Go for it.
No, okay. So I'll answer it.
They
very
don't have enough people to physically carry us off the stage, so we can stay
Yes,
here as long
this
as
is
we
true.
need to.
I could tell.
It's fine. We're good.
It's true. It's going to take about 5
Nah,
guys
nah.
for me. So
Yeah, yeah. All right. So one of the things that I could see when I talk about media, some of the we could say traditional media is more cautious, right? And of course, the extreme medias of crypto are more. Some of them are divided. Some are more, hey, we save this industry, and some are like, wow, whack it, right? I guess what I could advise the media is that I think, yeah, learn more about what's really happening and make your due diligence about it. And for readers, I think you have to really understand what's really going on. And we have to understand we're really in early adoption. I hate to say this, but the real use case for Web3 for the last few years are basically speculations at the moment, right? But still, you could see the bright light that it's integrated in our financial system, which is a lot of people are really adopting and a lot of people are benefiting on it. And I think that would really help solve, connect people and solve financial issues as well. Raising funds, sending money to people who have no access to banks. At the same time, build more value to every collectible, to every food. These are the bright side that outweighs the negative things. And I would say that there are some things that will need to be regulated, but there are some things that need to fly. And I think the media and the reader should see this. And again, people like us should be proactively talk to people about this so that they will be aware and they could generalize everything. Because the future is so bright and we don't want a few messy things to stop this. So thank you for reminding me it's time.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. We'll go ahead and wrap up right now. And it's been wonderful. And you guys are awesome. And you guys, all of you, are fucking amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace.
thank you guys.